The courtroom went silent when Marcus Thompson pulled out his lunch. Not because he was eating during his hearing, but because of what was inside that small brown paper bag. A single granola bar and a juice box meant for his 6-year-old daughter. In 37 years on the bench, I thought I had seen everything. But what this single father revealed that morning made me question whether justice and the law always mean the same thing. Marcus stood before me with a citation totaling $5,000 for repeated violations of street vendor regulations. He was 32, wearing a shirt carefully stitched at the collar and shoes that were worn but polished. He looked exhausted, but there was dignity in the way he carried himself. The prosecutor explained that Marcus had been cited 17 times in 6 months for operating a hot dog cart without permits. Each violation carried a $300 fine. None had been paid, and now the city wanted its money. When I asked if he understood the charges, he simply said yes. No excuses, no arguments, just acceptance. That alone caught my attention. When I asked why he hadn't obtained a permit, he explained he had tried 3 times, but his applications were denied due to zoning restrictions. When I pressed further, he revealed something deeper. He worked 3 jobs: night security guard, rideshare driver, and then the hot dog cart in the late afternoon. Those restricted locations were the only places he could operate between jobs and still pick up his children from school on time. He had 3 children, ages 8, 6, and 4, and their mother had passed away from cancer 2 years earlier. The room fell into a heavy silence as that reality settled in. I asked him to walk me through his day. He described sleeping only 3 hours, caring for his kids, working non-stop, and rarely even eating properly. When I asked about lunch, he pulled out that small bag, his daughter's snack. That moment shifted everything. Then I noticed something in his file. All 17 violations occurred between 2:15 and 3:45 p.m., the exact window when he was juggling rideshare work and picking up his children. He admitted he worked through that time because surge pricing allowed him to earn just enough to make rent. If he stopped earlier, he couldn't afford to survive. If he picked up his kids late, he paid after-school fees he couldn't afford either. His life had become a precise calculation of time and money, where every decision had consequences for his children. When I asked how much he owed in total, he said $6,800. If he couldn't pay, he'd lose his rideshare account. Without that income, he'd lose his home. And without a home, his children could be taken into foster care. That was the real issue. Not traffic violations, but the risk of a family being torn apart. The prosecutor argued that the law was clear and couldn't bend for personal hardship. Legally, he was right. But justice requires more than legality. It requires understanding consequences. Suspending Marcus's license would cost the city far more in foster care expenses than his fines would ever recover. It would destroy a family to enforce a rule. So I made a decision. I consolidated the citations into one case and ordered Marcus to pay the fines through 200 hours of community service, with the remaining balance paid in small monthly installments. His license suspension was paused as long as he complied. He could keep working, keep supporting his children, but he would also be held accountable. After the hearing, I arranged additional support: meals during his service, job placement assistance, and connections to opportunities that matched his skills. Weeks later, I received a letter from Marcus. He had secured a job interview at a bank and had already begun his community service. His daughter had helped paint a children's room at the community center, saying her father taught her to give back when given a chance. He got the job. Over time, he completed his service, paid his fines, and rebuilt his life. But the impact didn't stop there. His case inspired a restorative justice program that allowed others in similar situations to work off fines through community service. In its first year, 63 people participated. 61 kept their licenses, their jobs, and their families intact. Marcus became a mentor, helping others navigate their struggles. Years later, his children were thriving, and the community center room he helped build became a symbol of second chances. That experience reinforced something I've learned over decades. Punishment alone rarely solves problems. Accountability paired with opportunity can. Marcus didn't escape consequences. He worked harder than most defendants ever do. But instead of destroying his life, those consequences built something meaningful. That is what justice should be. Not blind punishment, but thoughtful action that protects society while giving people a chance to rise. Marcus Thompson didn't need sympathy. He needed a fair chance. And when he got it, he didn't just change his own life. He created something better for everyone around him.